Volcanoes are hot. They're also dangerous and incredibly complex natural phenomena that humans have both revered and feared for millennia. But what if we dumped our trash into volcanoes? Would they just passively accept our discarded coffee grounds and candy wrappers, or would something more interesting happen? That depends on a few factors, so let's break it down. It is important to clarify that when we talk about dumping things into a volcano, we actually mean dumping them into a lava lake. The molten rock found in a volcano's magma chamber is called magma. Once that magma reaches the Earth's surface, it is called lava. Lava lakes are slow-moving bodies of lava that form in the summit of a volcano and remain there until they either solidify or drain out of the volcano during an eruption. And while some volcanoes have multiple lava lakes, others only ever have one. The biggest problem with dumping trash into a volcano is that there are different types of lava lakes, and not all of them are created equal. Some are made of pahoehoe lava, which has a smooth, ropey texture due to the high amounts of silica and dissolved gases in the magma. Others are made of a type of lava called ea, which has a rough, jagged appearance because there's less silica and more iron and magnesium in the mix. Ea lava is much more viscous than pahoehoe lava, meaning that it doesn't flow as easily. As a result, Ea lava tends to pile up around the volcano's vent and form these cool-looking lava domes. You can find both pahoehoe and Ea lava in places like Hawaii, but these lava types aren't always exclusive to specific volcanoes. For example, Mount Kaluia, an active shield volcano in Hawaii, has had both types of lava lakes at different points in its history. So assuming that you don't dump your trash into the middle of an actively erupting volcano, the first thing you need to consider is the type of lava in the lava lake. If it's pahoehoe lava, then your trash is going to have a pretty easy time getting incorporated into the lava lake itself. It'll probably be no more trouble than the bits of rock and soil that are constantly falling from the volcano's walls and getting mixed in naturally. However, if your trash lands in an Ea lava lake, then you might have a slightly bigger problem on your hands. The jagged edges of the cooled lava could snag onto your trash, preventing it from sinking down into the lake. But even if your trash does sink, it won't stay submerged for long. That's because a lava lake is basically a giant pot of boiling hot tar. Eventually, your trash will become coated in molten rock and burn. Even if your trash is made of metal, it's unlikely that it would stay in good condition for very long. In fact, metals tend to react with other elements in the lava, like silicon and oxygen, which could change their chemical composition and form new minerals. So unless you want to start a metal scavenger hunt 1,000 years from now, you should probably avoid dumping metal objects into a volcano. Another factor to consider is how big is this volcano? Is it tall? How deep is the lava lake? Depending on how big the volcano is, it may take quite a while for the trash to actually reach the bottom. During that time, the trash might catch fire or burn up from the intense heat, or it might just get stuck in the side of the volcano. If it's a small volcano with a shallow lava lake, then it's likely that whatever you throw in there will end up at the bottom, whether you threw in a plastic bag or an old car. However, if you were to dump your trash into a large volcano with a deep lava lake, it would take a lot longer for it to reach the bottom, if it ever did. At that point, you might as well have just burned all of that trash yourself. Okay, let's say that your volcano isn't too big and your lava lake is made of pahoehoe lava. You may think that the trash will quickly melt away into the fiery abyss, but it's not that simple. It turns out that the temperature of lava lakes varies widely. They can be anywhere from 700 degrees Celsius to 1200 degrees Celsius. That's between 1300 degrees Fahrenheit and 1200 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot enough to melt metal and burn most organic materials like wood and plastic. So where do you find a lava lake that isn't so hot that it incinerates everything it touches? Well, there's always the Dalo volcano in Ethiopia. Located in the Afar Triangle, a volcanic region shared by 3 different countries, Dalo is the hottest lava lake on Earth. Its average temperature hovers around 140 degrees Celsius or 285 degrees Fahrenheit. Even though that's hot enough to cook some foods, it's not hot enough to melt metal or burn most plastics. It's just hot enough to make your candy bar all melty and gooey. In 2011, scientists set up a camera at Dalo to monitor the lava lake. And one day they noticed that a plastic bag was floating around in there. Scientists thought it had been carried away from a nearby village by the wind. But since then, that plastic bag has been seen floating around the lava lake every time it's been checked on. And considering that it hasn't melted yet, it seems likely that the Dalil's low temperatures are unique. If you wanted to dump your trash in a volcano without it immediately burning up, Dalil might be your best bet. But that's only true if you can get past the security. Ethiopia has recently invested in making the Dalil volcano accessible to tourists. So it's possible that your trip to dump your trash in a lava lake will require a guide. But what if you don't want to go to Ethiopia? No problem. There are plenty of other volcanoes with lava lakes all over the world. There's Mount Erebus in Antarctica, for instance, or Mount Kivu in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. But both of these volcanoes are extremely dangerous, and it would be hard to approach them without getting injured or killed. But what if you live near a less dangerous volcano? Maybe you live somewhere with a dormant volcano that has a lava lake. In that case, you're in luck because dormant volcanoes can sometimes be climbed. Just ask the people who summited Mount Vesuvius in Italy in 2021. They hiked to the crater and found that the lava lake was steaming, bubbling, and filled with ice. Now, if you decide to go volcano trash diving, you'll need to make sure that the volcano is completely dormant. An active volcano would be extremely dangerous to climb, even if you were equipped with all the right safety gear. And there's a reason why people don't normally try to hike to lava lakes. If the volcano is dormant, however, it might be safe enough to climb. Plus, if you pick the right volcano, you might even get to see some incredible wildlife along the way. For example, Mount Vesuvius is home to several species of endangered birds, including the extinct Mediterranean gull. Or you could go to Mount Ibu in Indonesia and look out for the adorable Ibu flying lemur. Just kidding, it's not actually adorable. The flying lemur is a small primate with webbing that stretches from its limbs and body. Webbing allows it to glide between trees, but it doesn't actually fly. On second thought, maybe you should just stick to throwing your trash in a regular garbage can. The point is, before you go dumping your trash in a volcano, you need to make sure that it's a safe volcano. You'll also need to know what kind of lava is in the lake and hope that it's not too hot. If you can check those boxes, then you're free to toss your trash into the lava lake and watch it disappear into the fiery abyss. Just remember, though, that even if your trash isn't immediately destroyed, it will eventually become part of the igneous rock that's formed from the cooling lava. So if you don't want your burrito wrapper to end up as part of a mountain, you might want to reconsider. You've heard me out. It's important to dispose of your trash properly. Thanks for watching.